Happy Monday, fellow humans. How y'all doing? You ready for the epic conclusion of this two-part episode with the H2F group? I guess it's fitting this episode got split into two parts considering the name of the group is H2F, right? You know what else comes in pairs? All good things, including coffee. With more than 100 coffee species on the planet, there are two main ones that are sold and consumed across the globe. Coffee Arabica and Coffee Canephora, also known as Coffee Robusta. Arabica covers about 60 to 70% of the entire commodity market, and if you're asking why, well, even though Robusta has almost twice as much caffeine and higher levels of chlorogenic acid comparatively, it also means that Robusta tastes a lot more bitter. The lipid and sugar content of the Arabica is about twice that of the Robusta, which is probably why people prefer it. Arabica beans are grown at a higher elevation and require quite a bit more care and labor to process, whereas Robusta is kind of a lowland dweller and considerably cheaper to grow and process, which is why most of the time in your instant coffee blends, you're going to see Robusta coffee. That makes sense though, right? Since the instant coffee market has kind of historically been less concerned with taste as much as it was more concerned about getting as much caffeine to their body as quickly as possible. So when you're ready to step your game up and ditch that instant coffee nonsense, head over to primoespresso.tiger.com or Primo Espresso on the gram and order yourself up some nice tasty beans for pickup or delivered to your house. The house blend at Primo is legit and easily one of the most popular, but if you simply have to get yourself going with a little more boost, the organic Black Lightning is pure fire. Also, fun fact, if you put your ear to your cup, you can actually hear the thunder. Enough yammering for me. Let's get down to business. The epic conclusion to episode 4 begins right after I read the disclaimer again. That the views expressed are those of the individuals and do not reflect the official policy or position of the U.S. Army, Department of Defense, or the U.S. government. There you have it. Fitness Nomads, episode 4, part 2 with Alycia, Zack, and Paul starts right now. Yeah, not PR, but actual effective, purpose-driven change.
Things that matter.
Right.
How deployable are we?
Right, because I mean, at the end of the day, the job is bell goes off, you go fight.
To war.
Yeah, you go fight. And that's something that is, everybody can feel like that. Short of police, fire, medical in the civilian world, there's not much out there in the corporate world that mimics that. You know, even in professional athletes, like it's like you're playing a game. Like you might put yourself in the mindset of like, I'm going to, you're still playing a sport. Like there's no
right, and it's not to take away from any like the physical trauma that comes out of that or anything.
Not
but
at all.
To the same extent,
it's not the same.
Nobody's firing a weapon at you.
No, and it's just it's not better or worse. It's just not the same, and that's where having that data to be able to do that, because it used to be. I've got some friends that are retired, and and that's what I was going to ask you about the body comp side. It used to be just BMI. Like, well, you're not going to pass a BMI. I'm not going to pass a BMI. You probably would for height and weight, but when BMI was
big neck,
big neck, big neck, pretty hair.
You should ask him about the tape test.
Well, so yeah, so where are you at now with the body comp, and then also the what is that worth in the total picture of the eval?
Yeah, so per Army regulation still, we do height weight tables,
okay.
And then that's based on BMIs, right? I tend to fail those, so I have to get taped,
okay.
Which would be a representation of your body composition or body fat percentage using circumference measures, right? For males, those are taken at the neck and at the abdomen,
okay.
at the navel level. And then for females, neck, smallest diameter of the waist,
okay,
so wherever that may be on a woman's torso, and then at the hips,
okay.
largest protrusion of the buttocks or butt, basically.
Okay.
So you take measurements there, and then there are calculations that estimate your body fat percentage.
600-9.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
I have that shit memorized. I go over it a lot. So that is the Army standard still. There are a lot of disagreements to say the least.
Debates?
with debates maybe is a better word on whether that's the best method, but that's still a standard, so that's what soldiers are held to. There is a big study going on looking at revamping that currently at USARIUM, which is the U.S. Army Institute of Research for Environmental Medicine. USARIUM, yeah, that's correct.
This man knows how to keep a paycheck coming.
Seriously.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a large study going on right now.
Okay.
We're kind of reevaluating that because ultimately those were developed in 1988.
Yep.
So if you look at the distribution within that population that they did the initial testing on might not be conducive for different ethnicities, races, genders, things like that.
And even didn't original BMI come from like the Welsh in like the 1930s?
Yeah, body mass index is stupid in my eyes.
I completely agree with you. As a 5'10", over 200-pound male.
Yeah,
Right.
Because it's just height and weight,
Yeah.
and someone can be 10% body fat and technically fail their BMI,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
so
I mean that's the path I was going down. Was it's like I
Mhm.
mean, because outside here, DEXA scan or any of the water immersion would be obviously the gold standard. I mean, you're not gonna do that with everybody, but I would think that it's nice that that's not the final decision maker, and the fact that they're going to the tape test as much as I know that's based on an algorithm, and they do change that equation relatively consistently based on some of the stuff that is.
I imagine they do, but the Army probably doesn't.
Yeah, no. So I'm talking the national organization stuff is like, oh hey, take this and use this as a calculator now if you're not using the other scanners and things like that.
Yeah.
But to your point is that now the Army's looking at that again, because I think I would rather have somebody that can pass the fitness standards of a I don't know, body weight deadlift, body weight squat, body weight bench press for reps in a sub 7 minute 2K. That's a pretty fit person. And if they're not hitting BMI and they're sitting there at 10% body fat, that doesn't logically make sense that they're not a capable fighter.
Right. Ultimately, personal opinion, if you can meet the physical standards, why I don't really care. You know what I mean? A big part of it though is right. If you talk about like veterans and stuff, the Army looks at long-term healthcare costs because you get full benefits when you retire. So higher body fat percentages are going to tend to lead or highly correlated with those negative health outcomes later in life, right?
Okay.
So that's why part of the reason
They stick with it.
right. But now that there is H2F and there are like we use the in-body 570 like machine, right? So bioelectrical impedance analysis.
Foot plate and handles for anybody that doesn't know that.
Yep. 8 point. So ultimately, like we still rely on that more. They still have to meet standards per Army regulation, but we rely on that. Like we don't do BMI or tape tests. We don't care. We rely on that to get segmental lean analysis, skeletal muscle mass, body fat percentage,
Real data.
Yeah.
It's also less intrusive of like putting a tape on somebody. Like it's caliper test back in the day. It's right here. Let me grab you here in all these places, some of which you may or may not find comfortable, and I'm gonna squish and then pull this tight so you get the most accurate number, but it's super uncomfortable and and then I gotta touch people. I don't like
good luck. Like we used to do that in college all the time. Good luck getting an accurate measure on a female because of thighs. Right. Some of the leanest women I've ever worked with who just had large legs, and you could never get an accurate pinch.
Because you can't get the skin to No, that makes. I mean that.
Men as well. I'm just. We definitely dealt with it primarily in our female population with very fit women who, and I'm sure it's similar in the Army.
Yeah.
Zach's only saying that because he thinks his quads are jacked.
It's not a thought. It's true.
I could see that response. I don't think I know. Well, no, but that's awesome. One, you're using tech, so I mean that that's weird. We evolve and we can do more things. But that in the in-body, there's a big debate too. Oh well, this one's not as accurate. Yeah, but as long as it's accurate to itself, at least you're measuring the same thing with the same ruler every time. Then you can measure change. That's why I mean, especially we're doing the walk around here. I love the concept 2 stuff because it's like it's split times. Everything, whether I'm here or back home or on the East Coast or bored at Dulles and I find a weight room somewhere there, I can know that when I step on.
If Dulles has a weight room, it's no longer a Dole airport. I'll fly there all the time.
Just jam out right before I get on a flight.
Hell yeah!
But if they've got that the concept 2 step in particular, it's like you've got a standard there, right? It's like okay, I know that this can be the same test no matter where I'm at. Might not perform the same, but at least I know I'm getting the accurate measurement, and that's I'm glad to hear that because that rationally that makes sense. I get that the big machine doesn't move that fast, and it shouldn't, because if you moved at the whim of every fitness fad, y'all be in an Orange Theory freaking.
There'd still be keto only in the DFAC.
Keto only, and everybody be riding Pelotons right now. Yeah,
this is true.
Oh Lord,
hey, I like my Peloton. That's all I'm gonna say.
Peloton. So extracurricular Pelotoning.
He's actually going home to do that tonight.
So that your primary fitness mode? You're doing it on top of everything.
Yeah. That's like my, hey, I need to get like 30 to 45 minute good sweat in.
Yeah.
And maybe it's like a Sunday and like I just need to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good extracurricular. Also, like I use it alternating with running just so I don't beat up my knees so much.
That's good because sitting here with no cartilage and only one real original knee. Running's terrible for you.
Yeah.
Running beats you into a pulp.
But the Army loves running.
Yes, of course, because it's the Army.
The airborne shuffle, baby.
Oh, man.
The power shuffle. We did that. We were talking about that during Murph. It's like, how'd you get your Murph time down? Because I can't run. Like, beyond not allowed.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, I can shuffle really fast. Like I can do that power shuffle like nobody's business.
You just got to learn how to power walk in the Olympics. I was watching that.
You see those guys?
That cannot be healthy.
That's
They're
not
all
at all.
valgus.
It's so bad.
Their hips were
it's
like
so bad
Their
for
hips are
you.
popping out.
Jeez.
They're not wearing at least what I considered enough attire below the waistline. Like it was
I don't know
awkward to
what
watch.
I
I
don't
was
know what
like,
you're talking about at all. It's 100% proper.
It's like, but the Ranger panties on
They're
steroids
just-
in a bad way.
yeah, in a bad way. Because they had the monsoon and all the rain and everything. It's
Yeah.
like the only thing that got wet was their shorts, and it was like I can't unsee that. I can't unsee that. I can't unsee that.
Did you watch the tandem? What is it? Kayaking?
the
Canoeing?
the tandem
Did
upright?
we watch that?
Yeah.
Yes,
Have you not seen it?
it's amazing.
It's
I feel
amazing.
like I
It's
watched
kneeling
it.
paddleboard.
Yeah, and there were
Yeah.
we watched that because we were down at TSAC a few weeks ago, and we were sitting in the hotel one day just wasting time, and I look up and there's these people with massively jacked upper bodies,
Super jacked.
with these tiny little lower bodies, just
Major major oranges on toothpicks.
It was wild.
Yeah.
But it's fun to
And-
watch. Yeah, super entertaining.
Yeah.
Did you see them try to turn around during the false starts?
No.
Oh my god. Well, the
Imagine
boat
that's
itself is
painful.
like
meant to
yay
go
big.
straight.
Yeah, and so like watching them turn around, I was like, one of you is gonna fall over. It was
Probably
so
not the
bad.
first time. Won't be
That
the
was in
last
the
time.
Olympics.
Yeah,
Yes.
you have to check it out.
There are a
You-
lot of things in the Olympics
Okay.
that like handball. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Kinda like,
Handball's cool.
I'd rather see pickleball. Like handball.
Pickleball
might
was
Spike ball.
sick.
Spike ball would be cool. I
If
still
you
couldn't
brought
figure
up-
out the rules of handball, and we watched it like every morning because it was on during the morning class. It's like, why do we keep getting handball? It's stupid.
Yeah, what's another like weird Olympic sport?
Field hockey. They don't give them
No.
long enough sticks. I'm like, you're all gonna have L5 hernias.
Yeah.
Like this is terrible. Like they're all bent over and just like
Mhm.
hunched over and then running like little gnomes. Like it was like, oh, this is.
It
awful.
almost looks like normal hockey players trying to run.
Okay, I'm gonna
Should
take
play.
that very personally right
That's
here.
100% a jab.
Ouch.
Normal hockey players look like professional marathon runners compared to anybody coming out of the pool trying to run.
I
That's
agree.
fair.
I agree.
Now, I will give mad props to water polo
Absolutely.
because
Oh, yeah.
that is competitive. Team drowning, like they just are trying to drown the other team, and
Drown
that
the other
happens to
team
be a
and
ball.
Throw a ball in the net.
It gets
Yeah.
so aggressive underwater.
It's insane.
Well, there's a reason why like they don't really film underwater anymore.
No.
because of
Because
the
it
things
makes
that happen
people
down there.
uncomfortable to
Yeah,
watch. You're like, you
it's
can't do
wild.
that to another
What's
person.
that
It's
video?
assault.
There's an Instagram reel of like a wrestling. Give him the old dick twist.
It's in the water. That's what they do.
Yeah.
It's insane. They're absolute maniacs.
They grab crotches.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and they grab and turn.
They
Yeah.
give
It's
him
not
the
even
old
it's not
dick
even
twist.
just it's not even just like a tap. It's like a grab and
It's
I-
debilitate the
I've
individual
had,
so
I've
you
had
can
a
get the
couple
ball.
of high school and college kids that play water polo, and the boys sit there and complain, "Oh, this and the other," and the girls are like, "I'm sorry, you don't have a fucking clue." Because
Yeah,
it's so much more violent with the women.
it's so bad.
They come
Well,
out, they literally look like a bunch of wet badgers that got into a claw fight. Like they're just scratched and
That's
cut to
true.
shit.
I could
It's
imagine.
like,
I didn't even
oh
think
my
about
God.
that.
And they're bleeding everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing as the women's soccer. It's like they don't
Dude,
take
women's
time off.
soccer
They don't
savage.
they
Yeah.
don't take dives like the men. They don't. If they get hit, they're like popping back up. Like let's fucking go. Like they're insane. Water polo players, absolutely insane. Now, flip side, swimmers in the pool, amazing. They get out of the pool, it's like, I'm sorry, like you need to just be in constant water, like to transit everywhere you go because running not working for you very well.
I thought you were gonna say the flip side. In the pool, amazing. Outside the pool, fucking pussy. It's just like,
They don't move the same way. They're obviously
Yeah.
built as aquatic creatures. They don't move the
Absolutely,
same.
yeah.
Which funny timing too, because you've got that literally paralleled with CrossFit games, like at the exact same
Yeah.
time. And
It's almost like it was planned that way.
yeah, like I think that whatever the transition with CrossFit was, it's like, let's time this for exactly that same time. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm gonna individually speaking, yes, they're the fittest people on the planet, far more than the Olympians, because you take a thrower,
Oh, absolutely.
put them in the pool, they're gonna drown.
Take Ryan
Like,
Krauser, Olympic record in the shot put, and he gets done and is huffing and puffing
Yeah.
after 3.5 seconds of work. Keep in mind,
Yeah.
like, I am a thrower. I
they are your
recognize
people.
it has nothing negative against the man's athletic ability. He's hyper specialized
Yep.
for an event.
Yeah.
That's what the Olympics is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think CrossFit, especially like the elite level CrossFitters, if we're being really honest, and like I love CrossFit, like I'm
It's
in
fun
the
to watch.
process of trying to qualify for this Cascade thing coming up in November. But like if you look at elite level CrossFitters and then like you compare their like snatch, clean and jerk, squat to like an Olympic weightlifter that's competing at an international level, right, like very, very different. But what CrossFitters ultimately are like really just above average at everything. They're really above average.
Except for Tia, because Tia's Commonwealth Games.
Well, she's like the
champion.
exception. There's always going to be the exception.
She's destroyed everybody.
But it's the same thing with Matt Frazier, right?
Yeah.
He comes from a or championship level junior weightlifting background, and then decides like, oh, I'll just do 10% of my max for 1,000 reps for time
and get
now.
epic at gymnastic movements.
Yeah, and get real because I'm small, so it's really easy to do anything.
Yeah, I know. It's the hard knock life we live with big guys. It's like, oh yeah, they're small. It's easier.
Yeah.
That's what I say. I know I'm full of shit.
Well, I also still say I'm fairly small. I think I'm small. I feel small. I'm not at all.
No. In your mind, you're
giant teddy bear.
Svelte.
Like, I think it's like working collegiate athletics, being a throwing background. I always work with linemen.
Yeah, you see guys that are much
so
bigger.
like cool. All my friends are 6'7" and 315. I'm the small guy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did, but it was an interesting. Like I liked having both those on at the exact same time because I mean, and we love watching table tennis just because it's so ridiculous. But like you look at like what they can do.
Savage.
Then, but then you like start translating to like it's like okay, that's awesome. But I mean, can they swim? Can they run? Can they do anything other than exactly what they're doing? Which then becomes, and this was our big debate, which is why I like things. You guys still have the Ranger games and the
best Ranger,
best
Warrior, all that.
Yeah, like those ones I always thought were way more interesting because it's like here's a total complete weapon or athlete or whatever versus like hyper specialized. I can go handball or table tennis or whatever.
Even like the decathlon and track and field, which is supposed to be the ultimate generalist, they are really good at the speed stuff.
Yeah,
they're okay at the jump stuff. Generally, they're trash at the throws, and they hang on for dear life in the 1500 at the end. I say trash. Most of those Olympian decathlons throw farther than I did, and I was a collegiate thrower. But
I'm on a podcast. I can talk shit right now.
Well, Ashton Eaton running a 10-1 in the 100 and throwing the shot 48 feet.
Right.
You're not a good thrower compared to a 100-meter runner.
Right.
However, you're the best decathlete there ever was.
Right. Yeah. And I like especially those events, the steeplechase too. Those are the best because one, they got the best wipeouts, like when the guys eat shit jumping over the walls. But it's like, it's like, hey, let's get out of this like singular plane of motion like the speed walkers to where it's like, dude, you put that person into any other capacity.
Elite level mall walking.
Yeah, it's right.
I think that's Paul's, like when Paul retires, that's what Paul should get into. Speed walking.
Put those people in like any sort of conflict.
You're gonna walk way far away.
You're gonna walk.
You'll never get me.
Like I was just looking at their
hard
bodies,
target acquisition because
I don't understand. Like
they're serpentining away.
Yeah.
How many calories do you think they burn walking?
Speed walk?
Yeah.
It's still they walk at like 6 miles an hour.
Yeah,
like
it's
like 50 kilometers at 6 miles an hour. Like it's not slow.
Walking for my speed quick because with Murph, like I try to keep some. I can't do it as fast as when I used to be able to run, but like if I can walk at a 4.2 or 4.4, it's like
that's
okay,
moving.
Cool. I'm hustling. It's that speed shuffle, but then my total time, I try to keep under 40 minutes, and it's like okay, I had to get really good at the in between. But because I can't make it up on just running faster anymore.
I'll just run for no.
Yeah, nope. I'm pretty much like if I can get that mile done in 14, I'm really lucky, and that's with a tailwind. But now it's like
downhill.
Downhill, yeah. How can I make this downhill both directions since we're doing a lap? Shit, I can't. But it's I don't know. That one's fun because it's like okay, it gives me something to keep working towards that I can't do as well as I used to, but I can still do well. I guess is about a good way to put it.
We just reframe your success.
Yeah, and it's like okay, how do I and so to the point of like our injury prevention here and it's like you got you're 26, right? So
correct.
You're probably better than you were at 19. You're probably in different ways going to be better
30's coming fast, my friend.
You're going to be better in different ways at 30 because you have the experience. But the body
like
wise,
what I'm hearing. Keep going.
But then you get to 36,
right,
and
stop.
if you're in for 20, when you're in, if you're in for 20, or if you stay in for 25 or whatever, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be. It's not gonna be the years. It's gonna be the mileage. And when you get to that point, because I'm sure you see it even in your crews here, you've got guys that are older at senior level positions that are super fit, maybe they can't do some of the like really high, like 98% stuff that the younger guys can, but as a totality of events and circumstances, they can mop the floor with them because they've got the experience for one, but they also know how to do it better. I mean, is that the pretty fair translator that you take the guy who's got 6 years versus, a little more experience can keep you more effectively in the game than if you just hard charge right out of the gate as a young guy?
I would say, I mean, for the most part, yes. And I have these conversations with a lot of the leadership we work with, especially since I have infantry units I work with. Yeah. So there's the old standard of if I can't keep up with the guys anymore, I'm going to put my retirement packet in and be done, because in the infantry, if you can't go with your guys, they're not going to follow.
Right.
So, and I see a lot of your senior level leadership gaming things a little bit more and figuring out, well, if I can knock a second off here and I can do this, or hey, we can fit, this week I did 185 for my overhead press, next week I'm going to try to do 190 just to squeeze a little bit more out, versus like you said, the 19 to 26 year old who sleeps 3 hours a night, lives on energy drinks and nicotine, and can deadlift 600 pounds any day of the week because he's a child and just has hormones coursing through his body. That's a vastly different individual, and they're two very different things. However, sir or ma'am on the leadership end knows, I know how to get myself into that condition. I'm not gonna, like you said, it's gonna be 95%. It's not gonna be that 98 plus anymore, but I know how to keep myself at this level versus having these vast peaks and valleys in my training and in my health, to where now they're talking sleep. They're in positions that don't sleep as much by job, not by choice. Right. And they're thinking, okay, I can fit, I'll shut my blinds at lunch, and if I have 20 minutes, I'll throw the timer on my iPhone and rack out really quick, and then get up when the timer goes off because we got a 1300 meeting. Or there's a lot more thought process, at least for the ones that I deal with, and we have a lot of great leaders that I work with in the unit I'm with. I'm sure it's similar over here, especially, I mean, they fly. Yeah. You want to talk about making sure you're awake and alert? It's a different world than walking through the woods with a gun in your hand. Yeah.
Well, the consequences of mental lapse or physical lapse are not that it's not important on that end, but it's like, oh, well, now, but I'm in a
it's just different. It's vastly
different. Yeah, and it's the speeds. I mean, I can walk through the woods or run through the woods, even if running 8 miles an hour. Pretty sure if you run into a tree at that speed, I'm probably gonna be okay, bounce off because I was tired and sleepwalking. But if you're coming in at 200 miles an hour in one of those really awesome Blackhawks,
so cool,
it's super rad, and you make a little error, it's like, you're a bone, you're a skid mark.
Here's a flag for your family, and
and
let's move on.
Debris field. Do you find on your side of it? Do you find more people looking to you with a few years in, looking to kind of, or is it evened out, or is it top head, or are you pretty much just anything and everything across the board?
I don't know. I feel like it's all over.
Yeah.
It's all over, because like our leadership, I feel like I see a lot of like older and younger, not a lot of like mid-range, to be honest with you. Like I see like the senior people who are like, they have 15 years in, and they're like, geez, like I'm breaking down. Yeah. Like I'm gonna do everything I can to, get through these next 5 years and then learn some like skills and get on a good plan for when I retire, right? So I can maintain health.
After career, second career,
thoughts,
life.
And have the young guys who are coming in there like trying to impress, be high speed in the unit, right? Show off in a regard, right? Come to see us. I would say it's mostly that. And then like kind of the middle, like I don't see a lot of, I would argue like when we're talking enlisted ranks, like E6 and E7, like I don't see a lot of
They're
them.
Too busy.
Yeah, they're like also they're running the show for the most
they're
part.
Doing the thing.
Yeah.
We'll get, for us from a strength and conditioning side, we'll get a lot of young guys that don't have a ton of weight room experience but like want to get good at something.
Okay.
So that's where like
good at something like work capacity wise, or something in here, or both.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
like
physical things.
Yeah.
The physical
like,
things.
Hey,
the doing stuff things.
I have, there's a 18-year-old dude that he just came in and he's like, I don't know how to deadlift, but like I'm in PT and we're next to someone that's pulling like 315. I want to be like him. Can you teach me? Type deal. So there's that. But then you also get like, we have certain first sergeants here that have been in the Army for 20 plus years that have chronic back pain because they've been crew chiefs for their entire career. And if you're a crew chief, you're sitting in a helicopter
Right.
with a bunch of gear on, with a giant thing on top of your head.
Yeah.
Like, so he has chronic back pain. So it's like, I just want to get out of pain. I don't care about performance per se, right? But can you help me move better so I feel better? So when I'm 60, I can play catch, 60, 70, whatever it is. Like, I can play catch with my grandkids and not blow a shoulder out, or I can put a suitcase in an overhead bin and like not hurt myself. So we kind of get, hey, I want to be good at performance, right? Or this, that, and the other thing. Hey, I want to get my ACFT score up. Hey, I want to move better. Or like, hey, I don't want to be in pain anymore.
Right.
And I've heard that you can help me. Can we do this together? Like, so it's two kind of different ends. And I think once you're able to get someone out of pain, it's a game changer for them.
Yeah, it's they turn into a different person. I mean, throwing is, I know that the wear and tear injuries are there, but then you've also got, explosive movement injuries, right? And then, and like with football, a lot of times it's not as much wear and tear, but more like, hey, I was going this way and they came that way and my knee went the opposite way because I got, wiped out. Like, not stuff you can control, but it's pretty,
Well, you'll get the catastrophic ones.
It's catastrophic.
You also, similar to this environment, if you do something long enough,
right,
trauma.
Yeah.
Just
Shoulders, necks, back.
Yeah. Or I put my kid on, I wear a ruck. Like, if you deal with a cavalry scout, like, every time we have a range, we're going to put our rucks on and run to the range.
Yep.
Yeah.
Miles away in boots, because that's what we do, because we're Cav scouts.
Right.
Yeah. Or like for us, like, again, our guys are sitting in helicopters for many, many hours. And then if you add those hours up over all of the years that they've been in the Army, by the time you get to like 38 years old, your body probably feels closer to like 55, 60.
It's that mileage. You
the mileage.
You use it one way or the other. Use it in the front end, use it in the middle, use it in the back. It doesn't matter. You get so many miles. And it's going to run out. And so I got two questions, but you get somebody like that. Let's say you're a helicopter guy, right? Or you're one of your ruckers. If you could pick one fundamental thing that is out of balance for them, I'm going to guess posterior chain is probably the worst thing, because everything is forward, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're moving forward, we're locked into our position forward, to where now 10 years in, 15 years in, I'm all, you're kind of showing, I mean, for people that aren't looking, rolling the shoulders, rolling the neck, like, I mean, is that pretty fair?
I mean, and I can't speak to Zach because I don't know kind of Zach's demographic really that well. But for us, like, again, if you're sitting like this, like our Apache pilots, the seats that they sit in, tiny, like they're pretty small. And so sitting in that again for hours, right? We're gonna look at shoulders, we're gonna look at upper back, we're gonna look at lower back, we're gonna look at hips, neck. So that's kind of the biggest things that we see. So for us, it's very much I'm not targeting one specific area per se. It's let's just get you moving more consistently in a way that looks good and feels correct, and you're not in pain when you're doing that. And like, let's chip away at that over time. Yeah. Because again, like we've had first sergeants come in that have been like, I've had chronic back pain, and then we started training consistently in the weight room, and now my back doesn't hurt. Even after a 7-hour car ride to California, like I feel pretty good. Like, so it's lacking
California
movement.
is 24 hours away.
17 hours.
They're in a fast car.
Yeah, they could.
What part
They
of
took the
California?
shortcut.
Did you go like Siskiyou? Or
It was like the most northern part of California that
Weed.
they went to.
I love Weed, California.
I don't know. California,
Right,
17,
College of
24,
Siskiyou?
whatever.
Point
Geography is
being,
hard.
though, that
Point
they're
1
able
to point
do their
2.
family thing. Yeah. No,
Right, and like get out of a car and like, okay, I'm not in pain when I've always been in chronic back pain the moment I get out of a long car ride.
Yeah.
Like, and so it's those little things that's where we kind of get wins here and there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you see.
Rucking, push-ups, and kit will ruin I mean, it's a postural thing,
right.
But we see, and then compound that with infantry guys not at war. What do? They sit.
Yeah.
They
wait.
They wait to get told what to do. Not only that, we're a 88% male force, so everybody raises the traps up and rolls the shoulders forward when exactly, because everybody has to posture up and do these things. Stop it. I didn't get to
that. I mean, look at the trap and neck development over here.
I'm trying
Specimen.
to posture correctly because
Paul is a physical
sit
specimen.
Like this. I sit in my office like this all day.
But that's the reality speaking is also we had a physical assessment for the last 40 years where a large volume of push-ups,
push-up, pull-up, sit-up, right?
Or push-up, sit-up, run.
Yeah.
Push-up, sit-up, not even pull-ups.
Not even pull-up. That's the Marine Corps.
2 minutes of push-ups, 2 minutes of sit-ups, and then 2 mile.
222. But
everything forward.
Everything when it's
always forward.
And that's just the reality that okay, now we're especially with our older population of soldiers, we're dealing with the repercussions of those things. And if you weren't somebody who was into like if you're not fitness is my passion, and bare minimum go to MFT that the Army puts on, which isn't a half bad course. They just need to spread it out over like 6 years instead of 2 weeks. But if you're not somebody who's inclined to figure out what to do, what do you do with your guys in order so they can pass their PT test? You push up, sit up, run. Yeah. And that's just, because
passing the test is passing the test.
You have to pass the test. Yeah. And that's in reality, that's what we're combating on that side. And not to mention lack of equipment, high op tempo for deployment or field or whatever it may be. So what are we going to do? Well, I'm going to put my kid on because I need some type of load to lift weights.
Right.
And well, what can I do without equipment? Well, I can do push-ups and sit-ups and air squats and lunges. So now my knees hurt. I can run these hills in my kit because body weight's too easy, God forbid. And it's one of those things, like there are certain aspects of the job that you have to be able to accomplish. Running in kit, distance running in kit, I think is the dumbest thing I've ever seen, but you do need to be able to sprint wearing your stuff. Yeah. So like that is something you have to be able to deal with from a training standpoint, at least on our end.
And I would assume that part of that too is now understanding that the where interval training versus like it's kind of same old, like, oh, let's go have the lineman run 3.5 miles for football. Why the fuck would you ever do that, right? Because they're never
mental toughness.
No, what I need you to do is be able to go full sprint 400 yards, not 400 miles.
400 miles to California.
And then get your heart rate back down so you can do a task. Maybe it's put rounds on target or whatever, and then do it again. And then do it again. And then do it again.
Cover, fire,
exactly.
move.
Which is see, that was like softball, underhand. We got it. This is a good team here.
But that's in the reality, that's modern combat,
right? And it's not prolonged linear and just.
I mean, to some degree,
go.
there is. It depends on what unit you're with. It depends on what your job is. Like I mentioned, even within the unit I work with, the variety of people we have. Our field artillery guys don't need to hump a ruck 16 miles into the objective.
No, they're going to crank the tube a little higher and launch that sucker.
Exactly. Versus the infantry guys or the cav guys will. And so there's just different aspects of the job that when you're especially at least in terms of H2F, as this thing rolls out and grows and that we're down at the battalion level and we've got all these coaches, we can specialize things a little bit more. A little bit more meaning like, cool, you guys are going to do a 30-meter sprint in your kit after you've gone through this extensive block of learning how to sprint properly and not just heel strike with my leg out in front of me as fast as I can.
Yeah.
I think, that's a big commonality in the military. It's just like teaching guys how to move well first and foremost, and then getting them to stick to a program consistently. Like that's adherence is, I think, goal number one, right?
And that's, you talk to the SOCOM guys, it's the same thing. We're talking Army strength and conditioning. If you show up to train, success is imminent.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong too. Like one of the challenges about this population compared to like an athlete, right? Like you have specific seasons with an athlete. Like
good point.
In this population, it's the programming gets jacked up a lot by, we got to go to the field for a month. Oh, in 2 more months, we got to go to the field for a month. Oh, deploy 6 months.
You sound like you're in the military,
12 months,
Paul.
come back. So it's
almost like you wear the uniform.
Tell us more.
But you know what I mean? That's got to be a struggle in this population compared to like a collegiate athlete population.
And now take the 18-year-old who has the same op tempo as the 36-year-old who, so one has a ton of mileage of poor training. You have the other who's never trained in their life, and we have to properly execute a training session with both of those individuals potentially at the same rack.
Right.
And so how do you build that? Not to mention, like, we've touched on it briefly as we've gone through this, but like, what qualities do we need to train to be the best soldier in their specific job? Because that looks different from if you're in military intelligence, if you're logistics, or if you're over here flying helicopters over with our guys running through the woods.
Yeah, I think I don't want to say there's no in season or there's no off season. Like, I don't want to characterize, because Paul's right. Like, we have guys that are, in the field We have guys that are, hey, we're going to do this. We have guys like our schedule is different because guys fly at various times. So that then changes things because that then changes their ability, like when they're doing PT, how they're doing PT, if they're going this, whatever it is. So I think for when I look at like what we're training, it's not necessarily about like, I could care less about the soldier that has, or I could be less impressed with a soldier that has like a 550 deadlift, but like a 16-minute 2 mile. I actually am more impressed about a soldier that can deadlift 2 to 2.5 times his body weight, but then go run, you know, a 13-minute 2 mile and be able to execute, you know, 10 to 12 strict pull-ups. Like being above average in every quality relative to their body weight is more important than like an absolute number on one particular category. Because ultimately at the end of the day, as soldiers, you need to be good at basically everything because you'll probably see everything in some variety at some point. So that's, to me, if we can kind of like raise the bar in all different directions on physical qualities, that's far more impressive to me than someone that's just like, yep, I can pull 600 off the ground, but I can't run a 2 mile in 21 minutes.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. So if you guys had, did I interrupt you?
I was just going to say a big piece of it too, from a training standpoint, is understanding like basics of residual training effects, while keeping in mind too that all the research on residual training effects is done with folks who are rested.
Right.
So like understanding, because every strength coach who comes into this job and starts to kind of get a feel for things is like, okay, cool, I can train X, Y, and Z qualities as my foundational, my cardiovascular endurance, my strength qualities, these things that are going to carry over to a large variety, while also not deteriorate if we don't touch them for a long time. Not keeping in mind, like you touched on HRV and things a few times, but like daily readiness is ass. Like I mentioned, our command group, who cares so much about training, they're trying to figure out a way to shave 1 second off a run interval to keep improving. Those guys are still sleeping 4 to 5 hours a night, having to have a couple drinks in order to come down to fall asleep, and then cracking a Monster or drinking half a pot of coffee when they wake up. And these are like high achievers.
Yeah.
So the average for us to be able to write a program, like, yes, you kind of have to understand what is going to be the best bang for your buck, especially given that our op tempo is all over the place. And I'm going to see this guy once this week and 5 times next week.
Right.
So how am I going to build sessions that allow for, and it really just be a master of your craft is the easiest way to answer like what you said, because you got to understand how much is needed. As Alycia said, I don't need you to deadlift 600 pounds.
Yeah.
Realistically, I need you to deadlift 340 pounds 3 times because that's going to max your PT test.
Right.
But other than that, once you've attained that, like, let's potentially shift our focus and look at other qualities.
So for kids that are listening that are going down this pathway, and they're going to be, especially team sport guys and girls that want to do armed service or any kind of police, fire, medical, civil service. If you had one thing you could tell them, like what you think is the most important thing for them to come into this ready with, like the lessons, the hard hits, the things that, like, because it could be anything, 2.5 times body weight deadlift. Great. Awesome. But it can be that simple, or, it doesn't have to be the world's most existential thing, but if there was one thing you could boil it down to that would help somebody who's listening, saying, I want to do this, and I need to start. I need to find a thing to start with.
You mean in reference as a coach or as a soldier?
As a soldier.
Paul?
What do you need to start with as a soldier?
You're just the thing you think would be the most important. And it could
you're
be
the only soldier in this
side
crowd.
of the house.
Just anything.
All
So
of it.
you're.
I would just first step, right, is just be conscious what you're putting in your mouth. Right, because oftentimes people go through the day, and like if I ask them like, oh, like what did you eat yesterday, they're like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I just like when I get hungry, I just pick something out. Right, so just be conscious of it. Like start being aware. Like there's nutrition facts on things. Like maybe we should.
There's information.
Maybe we should read those and understand what that means. So just start being aware of it. Ultimately, I think everybody knows what they're relatively, like, what is relatively healthy, right? Like people know that's like general knowledge. It's more of how do I get you there. And it really just comes down to being conscious of it, start using the information that's there, and then also part of it's discipline and mindset. Like don't not have fun, like still have fun, but at the same time know and plan that out to a degree of when you can kind of do that and still get away with it versus every day I just don't think about it.
Too much excess. Yeah.
What about one thing that if you're a kid that wants to join the Army, because Zach and myself are not soldiers, so we can't speak to it. Like, what is the one thing about the Army that you wish you knew going in? No pressure, though.
So, I mean,
You're going to spend $15 a month on hair gel.
Fucking allocate funding ahead of time. Got it.
You're going to have to spend... You're going to have to get a haircut every 2 weeks,
$45.
which is more money. And then if you need hair gel, it's going to be more on top of that. So
invest in Dogecoin right now.
So just shave your head.
See?
And go with that and tell your wife to deal with it.
This is for somebody else, not you, obviously.
Yeah. My hair. One thing joining the Army, I don't know. So like enlisting is a very different route than like the officer route.
Sure.
So like I did ROTC, so like I got like doses of the Army while I was going to college and like being somewhat of a normal college kid, right? I had really good mentors and leaders there, and then my route again, like I came down to school.
Yeah.
Which is a completely different environment than a lot of these guys. Like if you're enlisting and you're going infantry and you're going to basic AIT and you go to an infantry squad, like I don't know what to tell you. You just have to be like ultimately like just be in learning mode.
Ready to do work and learn.
Yeah, ready to do work. Don't get butthurt when people yell at you because it's gonna happen. Just take it with a grain of salt and move on.
Yeah. Get better.
Yeah. I guess my biggest thing is like I don't know anything, right? Like even when it comes to nutrition, like I have an idea of what might work, but ultimately like it's constantly changing science, especially in the nutrition realm. It's like it's really hard to lock someone in a room for 3 years and feed them specific things and then see what happens.
Yeah, they tend to frown on that.
Yeah.
So, but always learning is. I mean, you guys, when you listen back to this, you'll hear it. Like you guys have all said the same thing. You feel like you don't know. You feel like but at the same time, it's the humility to know that it's like there's always more information out there. Always the student makes you the one of the greater teachers, right? If you ever feel like you did when you got to DU, like, hey, I got this. It's like, oh no, no, my child, no, no, I don't know shit about fuck. And that's at least a entry level mindset of just like, cool, I'm gonna go learn. Even if I figure out a way to do it better later, I'm gonna learn all the ways to do it wrong first, and keep yourself at least staying in the game so that you can be to where you are now and where you guys are now, to where I mean, there's a lot of people that would aspire to be all three of you in different reasons, different capacities, because it's inspirational and what you do matters. And people are looking for that, with everything going on, regardless of what timeline we're in or what social events are happening, people want to do things that matter. And, you guys will never say this about yourself, so I'll say it, which is why I'm here, because it's exciting for me. It's like what you do is important. And you probably don't hear the words thank you enough, but thank you on behalf of everybody else outside of here that now hopefully has a better idea of what you're doing to help keep everybody in the game, which keeps all of us at home outside of here safer. Not necessarily always safe, but just safer and way better off and more prepared than anybody else on the rest of the planet, which is, I mean, for me, that's a huge deal. I mean, I can't thank you guys enough for everything and just that mindset and sitting down. I mean, if anybody didn't grasp that from this conversation, I don't know how, because you guys you're always going to be students, but then now you're also you're teaching other students, what you did right and what you did wrong, and that's a big deal. I mean, that's awesome to see people in this these positions that have influencing that way.
I think one of the best parts about my job working with is getting to learn from the guys that we get to work with every day.
Yeah,
I think that's hands down. Like, we had an opportunity to go out and kind of visit a group that was in the field, and we sat literally in a Black Hawk and just learned about how a helicopter gets off the ground. We learned about like how you do this and how you do that, and being able to be out of like my comfort zone. Like, I don't have any idea what the fuck I'm talking about, but like, you guys do. Let me learn. Like, and having those relationships is hands down like the most amazing part of my job, is getting to learn from people in like their area of expertise. And so I think for me, like, I will never go back to collegiate because I found a renewed purpose working in this setting, working with guys like Paul every day and his wonderful hair. But like, it's
not going to be here tomorrow.
He's going to start sick of it. He's going to come back on Monday and it's all going to be shaved off.
Which we'll just have to do a follow-up.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
We'll come back. We'll circle back to the
but yeah, it's amazing being able to have the opportunity to work with soldiers on the day-to-day and work for something that's way bigger than myself, and be able to learn from people that are far more knowledgeable than myself on the day-to-day, in areas that I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. And so I can't see myself doing anything else besides being here right now. So it's been nothing short of amazing, and that's awesome. Yeah. Zach, thoughts? Your biceps look great.
Sweet.
They look fantastic.
I don't do biceps, so that's awesome.
They're natural.
He benches once a month, thanks to
bench is dumb.
Shirt.
Oh, okay. So that's a perfect segue. We can perfectly segue into this because bench is stupid, and so are biceps. Desert Island. Okay. We'll start on that end. You get to take one lift with you, one supplement, and one song.
Can it be one piece of equipment?
No. One lift.
One lift is going to be kettlebell clean and press.
Okay.
You get a hip hinge. You get an upper push. Yep. You're going to stabilize through the upper back a little bit. What are you looking at me? We're talking utility.
This is his island. This is his island.
Supplement would be Gatorade.
Yeah, okay.
If it is a desert island, it is hot as fuck, so I need some electrolytes.
Good. That's a good call.
And song, if it's me by myself,
all you.
And this is you. If nobody got this from this whole thing, I'm like stupid emotional. Like in my family, my wife looks at me and is like, "You need to pull your shit together."
He's gonna start crying.
It's
right
Let It Go, isn't it? From Frozen.
No, Zac Brown Band, "Free."
Okay,
it was our wedding song.
That's a good
and
song.
if I'm by myself,
right,
I would rather have something that reminds me of my family.
Okay, I like that. That got deep.
Zach met his wife when they were 12.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
A fucking unicorn.
You are a unicorn.
He truly is.
Like my one and only someone, 12 years old.
It's amazing.
Shit's wild.
You are Rainbow Dash.
Don't ask me how this happened. And I tell her every day, like, my relationship works because my wife lets me make fun of her on a daily basis, and then just is like, cool.
Awesome. Thanks.
It's fucking great.
That's fantastic.
So awesome. I
love that.
It's very wholesome.
Okay, so now you.
The back squat.
Okay. Why?
Just because
she wants her quads to look cool.
For all the turtles.
Check out my fucking quads, turtles.
Just walks on the beach. Hello, turtle.
Hello, turtle.
Do you see these?
Teardrop.
Okay, so we got a back squat. You got a supplement.
So Paul has this like
your supplement, not Paul's.
Hold on. Paul has this like anti-hangover.
But you don't have booze, so that's
concoction.
ineffective.
You definitely have booze on this island.
Have you not seen Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah,
there's rum on every desert
always.
island.
We'll give her that island. She gets that island.
Going.
So reality is, right, if you're going to be drinking, you might as well have Paul's like anti-hangover concoction.
Okay.
Because I don't really like any other supplements, to be honest. Besides coffee, actually.
Okay. Don't you drink orange Gatorade like it's water?
I don't really like it though.
It's a lot of
and
sugar.
I only drink it when I'm working out.
That's fair.
So like 6 days a week.
Yeah,
So
but
every
that
day.
doesn't mean I like it.
Fair.
How do you not like? I like it. You don't like Gatorade?
It's so sugary.
I
Like
like
I'd rather
Gatorade.
just
Yummy,
like
though.
small dosage, and then I'm done with it.
G2?
all day.
I'm right there with you.
G2
Gatorade
just
Frost?
G2 tastes weird. Gatorade Zero also tastes like it's so just. Bleh.
It does have a. It
It's
almost
also
makes
weird. It's not just.
Perhaps we are sitting with 12-year-olds because that sounds.
with
You
Gatorade.
taste like,
Would you? Hey, Paul, do you count coffee as a supplement?
No.
Oh,
Okay, then yeah.
That's a good call. I'll give you an exemption for coffee. What's your song?
Oh man.
Rolodex.
Kenny Chesney.
Okay. Ooh, country.
hell
Okay.
yeah.
Double country.
Love me some Kenny Chesney. Somewhere with You.
Ooh, okay.
Super sad, so it lets me get my
Yeah.
feels a little bit.
Right, so you can get some motivation.
You want to be
to
sad
build
while you're on a desert island
while
by
she's
yourself.
doing the squats.
Squatting with rum.
She's angry squatting. She's sad squatting.
She's sad
Angry
squatting.
with rum, and then you followed up with Paul's anti-hangover concoction, and you're just good to go. You can
Okay.
put that on repeat all the time.
I like
Unless
it.
we count coffee as a supplement, then I'm fucked on taking coffee.
I definitely would think it's a food group more than a
Just call
supplement.
it a supplement.
All right, sir.
Okay.
You've had two now.
Yeah.
Don't fuck it up.
What's your lift?
Lift probably like clean and jerk.
Bicep
maybe
curls.
clean and jerk. Clean and jerk's pretty whole body movement.
It's a bicep curl in it. That's
Yeah,
why he's
like-
thinking that. He's thinking.
I work my bicep a little bit when I get it up here.
If you can clean 400 pounds, you're probably gonna have big biceps.
Yeah.
That's how I'd put it.
Yeah.
Paul, can you clean 400
clean
pounds?
and jerk.
No, he doesn't have big biceps though.
I can
Look at these
clean.
things.
Clean? Just straight clean? How much can I straight clean?
Probably
I don't
like.
know. Probably like 225,
I was gonna say.
250.
I was gonna put
We're
you up at
almost
like
there.
330.
Maybe.
Closer to
I don't.
224.
I haven't maxed clean in a while.
Paul's pretty strong.
You can tell.
Look at the hair.
You can tell.
You just tell.
Strong hair, strong lips.
Yeah.
Strong everything.
Strong.
And
Supplement.
Poor posture.
So clean jerk, poor posture, weak back muscles, especially upper back.
That's the supplement he's taking.
Right.
Supplement. I don't know. So like, do I have adequate amounts of food on this island?
You can procure any nutrition that is provided by the bountiful sea.
Fish.
Fish, dolphin,
Turtles.
turtle, shark.
Seaweed. Might get some greens in there.
There you go.
Oh my god.
What are the chances that I get that much
Paul,
protein?
just answer the question.
No, you know what I mean though. So it's either going to be like protein,
Okay.
like so I can actually get adequate amounts of protein.
Okay.
Whey.
Eat a
Or
turtle.
like pre-workout, so because I'm bored, like I'll just snort pre-workout.
Because I'm bored.
I'll just snort.
Recreational pre-workout.
Just
I
want
like it.
spiders under my skin.
I'll just like snort pre-workout and then lift and then just pass out on
Straight C4.
And then just pass out.
right.
Wrangle
'Cause
a turtle.
That's
eat
like
it.
what I would be bored as shit, right?
That's-
You're on an
that's
island by
accurate,
yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Might
I
as
get it.
well
What's
go
your
cra-
song?
Something but probably in same line with that. Like when I work out, I like pretty hardcore raps. Probably something by DMX.
Okay.
Just snort some
R&B.
pre-workout, do some clean and
Snort
jerks.
some D-Rat.
Listen to some
barking.
DMX
In between
and
sets.
then try to go catch some fich. You know,
I like
Yeah.
I like it.
All
See?
you're,
probably
you're
it.
gonna roll up on the island and just see Paul yoked out of his mind.
All just vascular and
His eyeballs are like out of his head.
Yeah.
Just vein everywhere.
Good.
he's ready. He's ready.
Just look
I
at him
love
now. He's ready to go.
It's fantastic.
At least your biceps will be big.
That is true.
They won't though.
You got all the time in the world.
I
There's no
guess.
one there. You gotta deserve.
But I can only do that one lift, right?
Yes.
No one has any
but most
limitations
important
on
lift too,
how
yeah.
many times you do it a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
got a lot
Body's
of
an amazing
reversals anyway.
thing.
Yeah.
Sweet. I like that. I like it a lot. Dude, awesome. You guys rocked.
You
This was
didn't
so
give
fun.
us your answers.
Oh, I didn't give you mine? This isn't fair because I've done this like so many times.
Well,
Mine
you
are
have to have-
automatic.
What are they?
Yeah,
Supplements, BCAs. Oh, I got to go in order, actually. Sorry. Lift is deadlift.
Okay.
that's
I
fair.
do deadlift.
Fair.
You want bigger biceps? Do more deadlifts. You want bigger
Absolutely.
chest? Do more deadlifts. I take
Okay.
deadlift. Also because it's
I
what I,
like
can
his thought
do
process.
and not like break
That's fair.
myself.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love the deadlifts. Supplements would be BCAs because I'm assuming I can get fish. So I got protein, I got good fats, eat the seaweed if need be. I'm just
Okay.
gonna
So
call
what
them
are the
seaweed.
BCAs doing
Branched
for
chain
you?
amino acids?
Yeah, what are they
I'm
doing
probably
for
not
you?
going to be able to get very much red meat. So
Okay.
I'm going to try to enhance the protein synthesis that I have from the
Okay.
fish that I do or don't
Look at
catch,
this, look at this
Okay.
and
intense
or make
look.
friends with dolphins and then eat them.
Okay.
He's
right?
so into this
So
discussion.
it's like I want to get enough protein in, but I want to be able to metabolize as much of it as possible and break it down with a little bit of extra BCAAs, which I know I won't be able to get because I won't have any red meat.
This is Paul on work
Because there's
mode,
no
just so you know.
cows don't swim, so there's
He's
no cows on my
dietitianing.
island, right?
Or is he
Yeah.
nutritioning?
Unless I got
He's a registered
tuna, which-
dietitian.
Right.
yeah. So but if there's no tuna there and it's only dolphin, I got issues.
What if
You
there's a
about
gorilla?
dolphins,
what
man.
if there's
I
a
love
gorilla
dolphins.
on the island? Like no one
Then
gave
I need
us
to make
like
friends with him.
no one gave us like
I'm
demographics
gonna
of
be
the island.
friends with him.
I think
and-
when he says desert island, I legit think of Pirates of the
I
Caribbean
do
when
too.
Keira Knightley and Johnny Depp just get hammered.
yeah, that only
Yeah.
works for like a day though.
Where
Then you
it-
run out of-
That's
you run
why
out
when
of-
she said the hangover cure, I was like, well, it makes sense because there's rum on
There's
every
always
desert
I take
island.
deadlifts and BCAs. I did like your. I mean the protein percent, but yours was a good one too. The hangover cure. I like all of them. You
Like,
know?
are you trying to
The
survive on
electrolytes
this
is a
island
good
until
idea
you
too.
get saved?
But you get
Yeah.
salt and seaweed, so you can maybe like.
Or are you
I'm
just trying to
going
like
straight
hang
Tom
out
Hanks
for-
in this shit.
Yeah, that's
We
what I'm
are-
saying. Like if
we
you're there for a
are-
good time, you might as well
You
have
would
it.
probably
Yeah.
be fine.
I'd
though, that's what I'm
probably
saying.
be fine. Yeah. And then as far as the song goes, it'd be. I feel like the ultimate. No matter what your workout is, it can work for everything. Enter Sandman from Metallica.
Hell
that.
Because if
yeah.
I'm gonna go hammer at 2K, enter Sandman. If I'm gonna go do a bunch of shit ton of deadlifts and a high volume thing, enter like it just if that's the only thing that's on repeat, like you can do it when you feel sad, you can just get fucking angry and get after it. And if you feel really good and get you like super
Now
jacked
I
up,
lay
you
thee
just
down
time it
to
right
sleep.
and hit that lift and boom, you're off.
I like it.
You
You don't like my
definitely-
BCA answer.
Oh, so did
He's
you, look,
hyper
look,
I don't think it's the most
analyzing
functional.
your
Paul is just
BCAA
like-
answer.
True, but I was thinking about what else is there that I might most likely have.
Yeah.
It literally is because there's no red meat. That's why. But
what
yeah,
if there's a
correct-
gorilla on the desert island?
I'm gonna be friends with a gorilla.
Do you
because I'm not gonna
realize
win a fight
gorillas
with a gorilla.
aren't like built like
Anything
cows.
is possible on a desert
Can't
island.
eat a gorilla. Plus,
You
it's
could-
only like so many meals.
What
Like,
if
you gotta
there's
be
a cow on the
You could eat
desert
a gorilla.
island?
But if we made friends, then we could catch more fish together.
What if there's a cow on the
You
island?
never know.
You need to
Or
find a
Rip
second
your face
cow.
off.
You gotta be
Well, yeah, and
friends.
then
True.
you have
You
more
gotta get to
cows.
be friends with the
Yeah,
gorilla.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. If it's George of the Jungle, we'll be friends. We'll be good. Oh, now the HVAC turns off at the very
Now we're
end.
gonna sound
we forgot
so
to talk about it.
loud.
We'll talk. Yeah, now that
It
now
needs
that it's off.
it needs to be addressed. The thing in the back
Yeah,
is an HVAC. And
The
it's
HVAC
giant
system
HVAC
ran
system.
for the last 2.5 hours.
that
we're
we
gonna
were
we're
talking.
gonna see where the software can get us. But no, this was awesome. You guys rocked. Thank you
Cool.
so much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Paul.
Appreciate
Sure.
it.
And Paul, thanks for coming.
Yeah, of course,
You know,
of course.
making
Thanks
us
for
making us
inviting me.
all sound really good.
Appreciate
This
it.
is awesome.
Your hair
Appreciate
looks
the
great.
invite. Thank you.
It's
Thank you
fantastic.
very
Yeah,
much.
if you're not watching on video, go on Instagram. We'll have
You
a
really
picture
just
of
got to
it.
zoom in on
Yeah.
Paul's hair.
100%. The whole thing's just gonna be
It's
this like,
majestic
all
human being.
He's
Speaking of
majestic.
holistic health and fitness, I wouldn't recommend working 80-hour weeks.
No.
But sometimes you have to. And on that note, my wife's going to kill me.
I'm out. And thank you to
We
Paul's.
go.
What's your wife's name?
Dee Dee.
Dee Dee. Thank you,
Yeah.
Dee Dee. What's your
Thank
wife's
you,
name?
Jade.
Jade.
My wife's out of
Jade.
town. You don't gotta thank her.
Well, but she's gonna listen. So
No,
it's
she
like-
won't.
I will
I'm gonna-
actually take
yeah.
a
I might even
screenshot
send her an
video of
advanced
this
copy of this
point,
just so she can
yeah.
That
listen
would
to
be
it before
great.
you do.
and then just say like zoom in on the last portion to hear how Zach feels about you right now.
She knows how I feel about her. We've been dating since we were 12.
No, about your comment.
That she's not gonna listen because
Yeah.
she doesn't care. I talk all the fucking time. She doesn't want to hear me talk.
But she wants to hear
Pretty
what Paul
valid.
has to say.
That's fair.
She really
father-
does.
The actual father of my children.
We are done.
We out. So what do we learn from all this? I know I learned one thing, that our U.S. Army is absolutely the best in the world and are putting everything they have into making our soldiers and their families the healthiest and fittest they can be, both physically and mentally. I cannot thank Alycia, Zack, and Paul enough for sitting down and educating me on the hows and whys the H2F program came to fruition and where it's going from here. And I also can't thank you enough either. If it weren't for you, there would be no podcast platform to put this content together and grow this community. If you think anything we've talked about would be great for someone else to listen to, please do not hesitate to hit that subscribe button and share with your friends. And as always, if you have any thoughts, feedback, suggestions, or even specific questions you want to pose, please send us a direct message or an email or leave them in the comment section. I guarantee we will cover them with the smartest people I can find to do so. Thanks again for taking the time this week, and we will see you next Monday. Bye.